Angelina Jolie. Narcissist? Part 4. By the age of 16, Angelina Jolie signed up with an agency called Finesse Model Management, and she modelled in both America and Europe, working mainly in New York, Los Angeles, and London. Being a model, of course, would provide an opportunity to control people through looks, draw fuel by way of their responses, and make the residual benefit of money, and would appeal to a narcissist, if, of course, she is one. She also made money appearing on screen in various music videos, including those by Meatloaf, the Rolling Stones, Lenny Kravitz. She then continued with acting, and in Cyborg 2, there was the sequel to Cyborg, the 1989 original, that had been a surprise hit at the box office. As artistic vehicles go, this didn't appear to be the best choice for Angelina to showcase her acting talents. And it would appear that one of the most memorable things about the film is the fact that she bared her breasts in it. The film's failure left her feeling disillusioned with her craft, and apparently catapulted her into a depression so severe that at one point she even considered taking her own life. Is it the fact that this foray into this particular film, and the fact that it flopped, would that be seen as a potential threat to control and caused her such a problem that it caused her to slip into a depression and engage in suicidal ideation? Or is something else at work, that she has a propensity to being depressed, and the extent of the depression was such that left her with thoughts of suicide? She explained, "I didn't know if I wanted to live because I didn't know what I was living for," she recorded in an interview in 2001. She admits that she was unhappy in New York and felt very alone. "I didn't have any close friends anymore, and the city just seemed cold and sad and strange." Is this a legitimate loneliness that she's experiencing? Or perhaps she was suffering from low fuel levels, and the sensation of it being cold and strange was how it manifested for her. "Everything that was kind of romantic about New York just got very cold for me," she explained. Her thoughts turned to suicide once more, and she even sat down one evening in a New York hotel room and wrote a note to the maid telling her to contact the police so that she didn't have to discover the body. At the last minute, however, Jolie found that she couldn't go through with it. "I didn't know if I could pull the final thing across my wrist," she admitted. As a teenager, Jolie found it difficult to connect emotionally with other people. This may well be a symptom of her narcissism, whereby she rejects that intimacy and finds that she has a problem with attachment, although it can, of course, come from other disorders. She explained that the self-harming that she engaged in was somehow therapeutic to her. She struggled with insomnia and an eating disorder and began using drugs, and by age 20, she had used just about every drug possible. Drug use, of course, is not limited to a narcissist, but it is a fuel substitute, and furthermore, the use of such drugs shows an abrogation of responsibility. She had episodes of depression, and at one point, at age 22, she attempted to hire a hitman to kill her. When she was 24, she experienced a nervous breakdown and was admitted for 72 hours to UCLA's Medical Center's psychiatric ward. It is clear by the time that she was in her early 20s that this was a woman that had had numerous difficulties. She had a fascination with knives. She self-harmed. She was an habitual drug taker. She had had a relationship at a young age with a man, losing her virginity at a comparatively young age, and effectively moving in together. She rebelled against the image that was projected in her locality, although her uncle saw through it, believing that it was just a form of projecting an image as opposed to it actually being genuine. Her father, of course, was absent through much of her early life as a child and then her teens, and we'll be examining the relationship between her and John Voight in a later part of this series. Her mother does appear to have been a constant, but is it the case that even her presence was insufficient to provide her with the stability that was required, or did she do her best in the circumstances, and there are other factors that were impacting upon her with regard to the depressions that she was experiencing and the suicidal ideations? Already, there are a number of indicators that could support a finding of narcissism, but there are other factors there also, and therefore we ought not to be quick to judge, as there may well be other matters that play upon why Angelina Jolie behaves in the way that she does. It was clear that she had developed into a very attractive woman, something that she could of course use to her advantage if she so chose. Somatic and elite narcissists are very much governed by their looks and would utilize them for the pursuit of the prime aims, seducing people. And as you know, the childhood friend had talked about the fact that she would seduce boys and then push them away, and that she would also draw people in who were friends and then be cold with them also. Not only is this behaviour that is seen with the narcissistic dynamic, but it also smacks of an awareness of what she's doing and a form of game playing, possibly to alleviate the boredom. She made it very clear that she had difficulties feeling, and it may well be that the pervading emptiness of the chasm within was repeatedly making its presence felt, resulting in her behaving in the way that she did. Although we are in the early stages of her life, there's been plenty of evidence that's been generated from a variety of sources, including her own admissions. Now we're going to start addressing another facet of her life, which is that of relationships. Relationships invariably provide us with excellent insight with regard to what somebody is, with regard to their treatment of somebody who is intimate. It provides us with an opportunity to understand more of the dynamic between that person, often away from the glare of publicity and, in some instances, away from the management of a facade. It is here in relationships that we often get down to the nitty-gritty of what somebody is, that they present a public face whilst having a completely different private behaviour. And therefore, we're going to embark in part 5 on an examination of her relationship with, first of all, Johnny Lee Miller, who she had a relationship with and ended up marrying. This will provide us with considerable insight. Join me in part 5.